All right, let's get right into it. We've all been told the same thing, right? The secret to success is setting huge, ambitious goals. But what if that's just completely wrong? What if the best way to achieve more is to actually forget about your goals and focus on something else entirely? Today, we're diving into this pretty radical idea, focusing on your systems. So I want you to look at this question and really think about it for a second, even if it feels a bit weird. Could your goals, the very things you're chasing, be the reason you feel stuck? I mean, really. That big goal you have, to lose the weight, or finally write that book, or land the big promotion. Could it be the one thing that's actually holding you back? That's keeping you in this permanent state of almost there but not quite? And this is where we see the two mindsets clash, side by side. On one hand, you've got goal-oriented thinking. This is where you're always looking at the finish line, right? And because of that, you basically live in a state of feeling like a failure, right up until the moment you win. But then you've got systems-oriented thinking. This person, they find joy, they find success in just showing up and doing the work every single day. The focus completely shifts from the outcome to the process. And honestly, that changes the entire game. All right, let's dig into what we're calling the goal trap. We're going to break down the psychology of why our biggest ambitions can actually backfire, and why chasing that finish line can, ironically, leave you feeling totally empty. So the first big trap, it's something called the arrival fallacy. And you know this feeling. It's when you finally achieve something huge. You get the degree, you land the dream job, and then this little voice in your head goes, is this it? You expect this massive wave of lasting happiness, but our brains, well, they're wired to just go back to normal. We just reset to our baseline happiness, and before you know it, you're already hunting for the next big goal to chase. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar just nails it with this quote. He calls it an illusion. And that's exactly what it is. See, the happiness we're really after is tied up in the pursuit, not the destination. The moment the chase is over, all that dopamine that was driving you, it just vanishes, and you're kind of left there feeling a bit lost, wondering what's next. Okay, and then there's the second trap, and this one is fascinating. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Basically, our brains are hardwired to obsess over unfinished tasks. It's like having a dozen tabs open in your mind's browser. Every single one of those unmet goals is an open loop, constantly draining your mental energy and cluttering up your thoughts. It makes it almost impossible to focus on what's right in front of you. And this is where it all clicks together. Look at this. The arrival fallacy, it just leads to disappointment. But a system, it gives you joy every day in the process. The Zeigarnik effect creates all that mental clutter, right? But a system, which is all about what you're doing right now, brings total clarity. It's like for every single trap that a goal sets for you, a good system provides the perfect escape route. So, okay, if goals are the problem, then what's the answer? Well, it's all about embracing the power of the process. Think of it like this. It's time to install a brand new operating system for how you achieve things. One that's not built on some far-off outcome, but on the quality of the process itself. And this quote from James Clear, man, it's really the heart of this entire idea. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Just think about that. Winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. The person who wins the gold medal and the person who doesn't even qualify both wanted to win. The difference isn't the goal, it's the system they used day in and day out. And the power of a really good system, it's honestly kind of mind-blowing. Look at this number, 37x. What is that? That's what happens if you improve by just 1%. Just one tiny percent every single day for 1 year. You end up 37 times better. That is the magic of compounding interest, but for your own self-improvement. Your daily habits, that's your system. And the results aren't just a little better, they're exponential. Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory. But how do you actually do it? How do you build one of these systems? Well, let's get into the toolkit. We're talking about the practical, real-world steps you can take to build a system that basically can't fail. So James Clear breaks it down into these 4 laws of behavior change. It's super simple. First, make it obvious. Second, make it attractive. Third, make it easy. And fourth, make it satisfying. So let's say you want to start exercising. To make it obvious, you put your running shoes right by the door so you literally trip over them. To make it attractive, you only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're working out. To make it easy, you don't commit to an hour, you just commit to 2 minutes. And to make it satisfying, you put a big X on a calendar every time you do it. That little dopamine hit makes all the difference. All right, now for a really powerful idea that's a little counterintuitive. It comes from Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, of all people. And he argues that the real key to a great system has nothing to do with managing your time. It's all about managing your energy. And just think about it for a second. Traditional time management, it tries to cram your life into this rigid schedule, right? You're constantly fighting your own body's natural rhythms. But energy management, it works with your biology. You figure out when your brain is sharpest, say in the morning, and you do your most important creative work then. And you save all the boring, mindless stuff like answering emails for that afternoon slump when your energy is low. It's a complete game changer. You're optimizing your state of mind, not just your calendar. So, does all this stuff actually work out in the real world? Or is it just a nice idea? Well, let's look at some serious proof of concept, some incredible stories of how this exact philosophy completely transformed the game. What's wild is that a lot of these ideas don't even come from psychology. They come from car manufacturing. Seriously, the Toyota production system, they have this principle called Kaizen, which just means continuous, small improvements. Sound familiar? It's the exact same thing as getting 1% better every day. And they have another one, Jidoka, which means if there's a problem, you stop the entire assembly line to fix it. We can translate that directly to a personal rule: never miss twice. So you skip the gym today? Fine. But you do not miss tomorrow. No exceptions. You fix the defect in the system immediately. But maybe the most incredible example of this in action is the story of British cycling. You have to understand, back in 2003, this team was an absolute joke, a total laughingstock. In 100 years, they had won exactly one gold medal. It got so bad that top bike companies refused to sell them bikes because they thought it would actually hurt their brand to be associated with them. That's how bad they were. And then they hired a guy named Sir Dave Brailsford, and he brought in a new philosophy, a new system. He called it the aggregation of marginal gains. The idea was simple but crazy. Break down every single tiny little thing that goes into riding a bike and just improve it by 1%. And I mean everything. They redesigned the bike seats for better comfort. They rubbed alcohol on the tires for better grip. They tested different massage gels to see which one led to faster muscle recovery. They even painted the inside of the team truck white just so they could spot tiny bits of dust that might mess with the finely tuned bike. So what was the result of all these tiny changes? Well, just 5 years later, at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, the British cycling team won a staggering 60% of all the available gold medals. 60%! They didn't have a goal of win the Olympics. They had a system of improve everything by 1%. The winning? That was just a byproduct. And this is where we get to the real heart of it all. Because, you see, this isn't just some clever productivity hack. This is a complete, fundamental shift in how you think about yourself and who you're trying to become. Here's the most important distinction we're going to make today. The real goal isn't to run a marathon. It's to become a runner. Do you see the difference? Anyone can suffer through training to run one marathon. That's a temporary outcome. But becoming a runner, that's an identity. And the system, just putting on your shoes and getting out the door day after day, that's how you build that identity. It becomes who you are. And this idea, this reframe, is what makes the whole thing stick. Every single action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Every time you go to the gym, you're casting a vote for I'm an athletic person. Every time you write one page, you're casting a vote for I'm a writer. These tiny little actions are the votes that, over time, compound and build your new identity. So let's leave it with this thought. In the end, your goals don't define you. Your systems do. Every tiny action you take today is another brick in the foundation of the person you're going to be tomorrow. So the only question that really matters is, who are you voting to be today?